Welcome to The Deep Dive. We cut through the noise, get you the essential insights. And today we are diving deep into the 2026 Honda Civic. Our goal here is simple. Give you a real shortcut to being properly informed about this really popular car. We're pulling out the key details from all the material we've gathered.
Yeah, and this is definitely one worth diving into. I mean, the Civic is consistently called out by places like Motor Trend as, quote, one of the most well-rounded compact cars out there.
Yeah.
It really is a staple, whether you're just commuting every day, maybe getting into cars a bit more, or you just want something dependable. And importantly, it holds its value incredibly well in its class. That's a big factor for a lot of people.
That broad appeal is definitely something, and I'm keen to understand why. So for this deep dive, we'll dig into what's actually new, and maybe just as importantly, what isn't new for the 2026 model. We'll break down the trims, share what the experts are saying, what owners think, and hopefully help you figure out if this 26 Civic might be the right car for you. Okay, so let's get into it. The main headline for the 2026 Civic is that it's staying firmly in Honda's 11th generation. No huge redesign. It already had that mid-cycle refresh back in 2025. So what does that mean for you listening? Well, it usually means you're getting a vehicle where most of the initial kinks have been worked out. It points towards a more predictable ownership experience right from the start. Big plus for reliability and, like you said, resale value down the line. It's refinement, not really revolution.
Exactly. Refinement is the word. And that refinement stretches across quite a few options. You've got the sedan, you've got the hatchback body style. So there's versatility there depending on what you need. And within those, you have the sort of standard LX and sport trims, then the hybrid options, which are getting really popular, plus the Sci, for people who really want that manual performance feel, and then the Top Dog Type R, which is purely focused on track driving.
Okay, let's zoom in on something that I think a lot of buyers are really watching. The hybrid trims, the sport hybrid, and the sport touring hybrid. What makes these stand out in the lineup?
Well, they're a pretty compelling mix, actually. They're built around a 200 horsepower hybrid powertrain. So you get a nice balance of, decent power, but also really good efficiency. The fuel economy numbers are quite impressive. We're talking up to 50 miles per gallon in the city, 47 highway. That's significant. And it's not just the powertrain. Honda's also worked on noise reduction, so the cabin should be noticeably quieter. Plus, they have this feature called deceleration selectors.
Deceleration selectors. Okay, what's that about?
It basically lets you adjust the level of regenerative braking. Think of it like engine braking in a gas car. But here, it helps recharge the battery more effectively, gives you a bit more control over how the car slows down, and maximizes that energy recovery. Kind of neat for optimizing efficiency.
Huh, interesting. So Honda's basically saying, look, you want efficiency, but you don't want it to be boring. Seems like they're trying to hit that sweet spot, and the Sport Touring Hybrid, you mentioned that one kicks it up a notch.
Yeah, that's right. If you go for the Sport Touring Hybrid, you get extras like the Google-built infotainment system, which is generally well regarded, and a Bose premium audio system. So it layers on more tech and comfort features. It really does try to blend that efficiency with a more engaging and refined drive. Now, if we shift gears from that blend towards, pure performance.
Right.
That brings us to the Sci and the Type R. The Civic Sci, it runs on a 1.5-liter turbo four-cylinder. Also makes around 200 horsepower, funnily enough. Pretty much the same total system output as the hybrid.
Oh, interesting comparison.
Yeah, but the way it delivers that power and connects you to the road is totally different. The Sci is defined by its standard 6-speed manual transmission. That's a big deal for enthusiasts. And it comes with a helical limited slip differential.
Okay, break that down. Helical limited slip diff?
Sure. It's a mechanical component in the front axle that helps manage power delivery between the front wheels, especially during cornering. It means you get better traction, pulling out of turns, less wheel spin on the inside wheel. Makes the car feel much more planted and, frankly, sportier. Add in the Sport Tune suspension, and the whole package is just geared towards driver involvement. Maximum connection, very spirited feel. It's kind of like, choosing a manual turntable over screaming music. More effort, maybe, but the engagement is the reward.
I like that analogy. Very fitting. And the Type R, of course, is just that philosophy taken to the extreme, right? Still the king of the hill for Honda performance hatches.
Exactly. Solely focused on sharp handling, pure driver engagement.
Okay, so we have this wide range, efficient, commuter, balanced hybrid, manual enthusiast car track weapon. Does that mean the reviews are all over the place depending on who's driving what? Or is there a common thread?
It's actually surprisingly consistent. The consensus is pretty strong, which really speaks volumes about the Civic's core qualities. Reviews are generally very positive. Take Edmunds, for example. They gave the Civic an 8.2 out of 10. They praised its comfort, its efficiency, the overall execution. They did note, though, that the gasoline-only models, the non-hybrids, maybe give up a little bit of power compared to some rivals.
Okay, a trade-off for fuel economy, maybe.
Exactly, that's often the balance. In Motor Trend, they echo that positive sentiment, calling it one of the most well-rounded compacts. They specifically praise the hybrid for its great mix of sportiness, efficiency, and everyday practicality. It's all those notes.
Right, so the experts seem pretty aligned. What about the folks actually buying and living with these cars? What are owners saying?
Yeah, looking at owner reviews, like on TrueCar, the average rating is really high, 4.8 out of 5 stars. Owners consistently highlight satisfaction with the performance, the safety tech that Honda includes, and, no surprise, the fuel efficiency.
Wow, 4.8 is impressive.
It really is. So what this all boils down to for you, the listener, is that the general feeling is one of a well-rounded, satisfying car to own and drive, whether you're focused on saving gas or having fun behind the wheel.
That strong agreement definitely makes sense given its place in the market, and that includes pricing and holding its value, which you mentioned earlier. So let's talk dollars and cents. What kind of MSRP are we looking at?
Okay, pricing. These numbers include the destination fees, which is important. The entry-level LX sedan starts at $25,745. If you step up to the Sport Hybrid sedan, that's $30,445. And the top-tier hybrid, the Sport Touring Hybrid Hatchback, comes in at $34,645.
Gotcha. What about the site?
The C sedan. There's a slight wrinkle here. Kelley Blue Book, KBB, listed at $32,145. But looking at some reliable forum discussions, like on Reddit where owners track this stuff closely, the confirmed 2026 MSRP seems to be $30,995.
Okay, so a bit lower than KBB suggests.
Right. It's a slight bump from the 2025 price, but still around that $31K mark. As for the Type R, well, its price is still officially TBA to be announced. Given its limited nature and high demand, you'll likely be looking at dealer quotes, often with markups.
Right, the reality of performance halo cars.
Indeed. But across the board, it's worth saying again, Civics tend to hold their value exceptionally well for this segment. That's a key financial consideration.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's tie all this together for the listener. That big question, should you buy it? Based on everything we've looked at, the guidance seems pretty clear. If you're mainly commuting, looking for solid value and great efficiency, the LX and Sport trims are strong contenders. Just be aware that their standard 2.0-liter engine is more about sipping fuel than outright speed, for anyone trying to find that really appealing middle ground.
Yeah, the hybrids.
The hybrid trims seem to be the answer. You get that 200 horsepower combined output, which is respectable, plus the top-tier fuel economy, and that quieter cabin. They seem to make a really strong case for an engaging drive without the fuel penalty.
Totally agree. They hit a really nice balance.
And then, of course, if your priority is pure driver involvement, that connection to the road, maybe rowing your own gears.
Then it's the Psy or the Type R, no question. They're built specifically for enthusiasts who prioritize performance and handling above all else.
Okay, makes sense.
So yeah, in essence, the 2026 Honda Civic really carries on its legacy. It's versatile, it's dependable, holds its value well, and now it's significantly boosted by those refined hybrid options. The choice really just comes down to what you prioritize most. Is it maximum efficiency? Is it everyday usability? Or is it that raw driving fun?
That versatility, that range is definitely the Civic's superpower, it seems. But thinking about that range, what specific detail or maybe scenario across these trims do you think listeners might find most surprising? Something maybe you wouldn't immediately associate with the Civic nameplate. What part of this deep dive made you pause and think, I really need to dig into that more?